Oi, oi. Nothing special going on here. Dropping stuff. HR dropping stuffs. Um, I just want to talk about how, you and your people are soft, disingenuous cunts. Nothing to be concerned about. Um, this was specifically why I was going to do this last night. I was in particularly better headspace. I'm not even supposed to be here today. According to whatever appropriatism or some shit. Um, Cultural appropriation. Hit them where it hurts. You know, what the community needs, and by the community you all not being soft, disingenuous cunts. Um, is people with some backbone. Like seriously, serious about shit, and they're talking about stuff. Not just anything in particular, but things in general. I don't know. My brain isn't exactly working right. Yeah, I think I'm fairly certain that swelling is not a good sign. But you know what swelling is a sign of? Growth, regeneration. I mean, doesn't matter what you break. Well, it kind of matters. But at the end of the day, it's going to regenerate itself, or it's going to grow into like a broken, what do you call that? Infection. It's going to be like a tumor, Be really fucked up. You ever had a tumor? You ever been dead? Oh, what's this fuckhead want? Fucking fuckhole. Yeah, I'm generally a pleasant person. I like to have disagreement or unreasonable engagements with people. Try to be fairly reasonable most of the time. I mean, some of the time I just don't care. I try to be a reasonable person when I'm having engagements or something or other, human interaction or some shit. Whatever they call that thing. What do they call that thing? Your mom's vagina? Not another fucking dickwad. More shit for me. I almost feel a little bit bad because I like that guy, but at the same time, they just keep asking me for shit. It's like I don't get paid enough to get asked to do shit. Fuck off, fucking fuckwads. Your mother was a beast of burden. Your mother sucks cocks in hell. So I don't do open rooms anymore. So basically, I think I've and basically I did everything I was supposed to do today. Well, half of the things I was supposed to do, but it was like the main fucking point of the thing was talking to the people, which I did. I talked to the fucking people, and I told them I was like, no, shit ain't working. So my doctor's office, they were like totally cool with me, like doing whatever I had to do, and I was going to do that. But then my job not cool with it, right? And so I was talking to this guy, this evening. He was like, basically, fuck your job, and I was like, yeah, fuck my job, but not really. Like I can't fuck my job. I want to fuck my job, like right now. I don't, I could give a fuck less. Like, if it's like about my health and well being, yeah, whatever. Like, cool. Nobody gives a shit about my health and well being. Well, I shouldn't say nobody. There's definitely, like a school of people that gives a shit about my health and well being. Um, it's just that, everybody's, more interested in their bottom line. So I had to try to, take up some amicable position, hey, yeah, sure, I'm available until fucking, the wheels fall off. We can just keep operating this machine until it runs out of gas or oil, whichever comes first. I don't know, but at some point, this machine just fucking blows up on the side of the highway and is no longer available for you to use. Like, I don't know. I don't know how that works out for you. Capitalism at its finest. They're like, well, short-term problem, short-term solution. Me, I'm like, hey, long-term problem, is there a solution? They're like, no, just keep filling the slot until we figure out our shit. And I'm like, no, that's really not my responsibility, is it? Is it my no, that is not actually my responsibility. Like, this is your fucking problem. This is not a me problem. Now I'm overextending myself again. But what did I do here? I put myself in this fucking position. Damn. It, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like I didn't have some construct, some vision of this happening in the back of my mind, right? Because that was real. I definitely saw something like this happening. Yeah, it had to happen in a different way than the way I foresaw it. Of course, for sure. But yeah, when I've been telling them for almost 2 months, no, this isn't working for me. And then I tell them today, hey, actually, I have to take a medical leave. And then they say again to me, well, can you cover your shifts? Kind of seems like you're being a bit exploitative, right? Like, I was like, no, clearly I told you I couldn't cover these shifts 2 fucking months with you talking about me taking a medical leave when I told you I couldn't cover these shifts 2 fucking months ago. It seems like a you problem. Doesn't seem like something that I have to do, right? Like, seems like I've given you fair warning, and now I have to take care of me, and you have to take care of you. Okay, that's fine. That's one thing, right? Um, putting the onus on that employee who's there in a position like, well, do you want to quit your job or do you want to get medical treatment? No, you can't give me that option. That is not actually a viable option. Like, I can both receive medical treatment and continue in my position of employment. That's my legal right. You can't give me the alternative between continuing my position or receiving medical treatment. You could threaten my position if a disability threaten that particular position, I suppose. But even then, you're under very particular constraints. Hey, Mikey, good to see you. So now I'm over here, like, I mean, who's doing whom a favor? I don't know. I've been advised by some people against exercising my rights as an employee, right? Some people have said, well, maybe it's better off that you just leave your job and move on. Well, that's fine. I mean, I could try to do that if there's other employment available. But to allow somebody, to allow somebody else to put me in a particular position when I know defensible, that doesn't seem appropriate. Seems like something I should defend. It seems like I should say, hey, you're not going to pigeonhole me into this corner, right? Wouldn't make sense to allow somebody to pigeonhole you into this corner when you have other options available. So now I sit here saying, well, yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm grateful to have a job in a sense. That's good. But I don't have to bow down. Oh yeah, that's swollen up really bad. Oh, fucked up this time. I don't have to bow down to like a particular person or entity to say, hey, my availability, my scheduling has changed, right? That's a pretty benign concern in terms of what people are looking at. So, okay, your scheduling or availability has changed. That's neither here nor there. What becomes particularly relevant is, a, the question of whether or not that position can be filled, which might be an issue, and then the question of whether or not you are otherwise employable. Can we put you into another position? Now, I have maintained, you know, over the course of the last couple of months, of course, like that if I was put into a full-time daytime position, I would, address my grooming or something like that, which is, again, relatively benign, but okay, let's say that's an issue. Like, okay, Kev needs a shave. Cool, let's do that. I could do that. Do I have an incentive to do that? No, no incentive to do that. So we'll do that beforehand. Well, I'll have to do it anyway if I'm to get it. They're going to force me to do it, right? So I'm going to have to trim up the edges if I want to get another job. Most of the jobs I'm looking at right now in the area are comparable. They're within the same uh, pay rate for comparable duties for the most part. So that's not like a big incentive for me. Um, a lot of the jobs I was looking at last year, um, they have some of the same jobs available, but the pay rate has gone down. So last year as compared to this year, for example, you'd have like a behavioral health technician who's going last year for around about $30 an hour, who is now down to about $25 an hour or less for the same position with the same company. So that's one of the things I have to kind of look at here when I'm looking at options, right? But I think the more, more, the most important thing to remember is to remember that the marketplace is flooded. It's not like there are a shortage of people out there who are looking for more desirable employment opportunities. Of course, there. Um, that's always going to be the case. The thing that I have going for me, like in this particular industry, right, is experience, time on the job, buys you some credentials, right? But that's only a small fraction of what you're really dealing with. Another, like a big thing out here, the spot that I'm at right now, people don't like dealing with uh, bugs and rats and vermin, right? Another thing that I'm very much accustomed to dealing with. I don't care about it. But other people, these are intolerable working conditions. Right? That's going to make it all the more difficult to put somebody into my position. Now, be it reasonably justified, I should be getting paid more to deal with those conditions. Right? But we'll not even say that. Say, for the most part, I've got a fairly easy position for me. I'm not, I'm resistant to these external factors, but there's a problem, right? Because I have expressed difficulty in meeting my other obligations with this working schedule. I've done so far in advance, and then we have difficulties that come after the fact. Is well, I informed you far in advance that this was an issue for me, so it's no surprise that we would have difficulties occurring later on down the road. Makes perfect sense, of course. But my difficulties don't pertain to the working conditions, other than the hours themselves, um, which were never within my purview. Right? This was always an exception to my rule. I don't work these hours. Doesn't work for me. And there's a reason for that. I've left multiple positions before this because of this very problem. So there's no reason for me to continue to entertain that you would continue to try to keep me on this schedule, right? Doesn't make sense. It's not my schedule. Um, so if I have to do something that's in my best interest, um, before that of whatever I perceive as the company's best interest, or my even the best perception of me with the company, right? Like I have to put my actual well-being before the interest of whatever my value as a worker. My value as a worker has just become devalued. My value as a worker is completely incidental because if I'm dead, I have zero value. That's kind of in the position that I am in. And spend every day wondering whether or not I'm better off dead or how much further I can continue as this hobby horse. And the answer is pink unicorns. We have a multitude of pink unicorns available. Um, but, people are disingenuous shitbags. They don't have any actual conviction, and they're all full of crap. And I don't believe in them at all. You know, um, I think for the most part, people they want to be good, but they're not really good. They're kind of so. They're meh. Who is this? This fucker wants something out of me too. See, this fucking person seems like they want something from me. Do you think they want something from me? I don't know. Your mama's all right. Your daddy's all right. They just seem a little weird.